When you're in
Yeah,
flow, because you
when
don't
you're in flow,
question
yeah.
the knowing when you're in flow. And I find that when we're not in flow, we start bringing up stories of the past of like, yeah, but last time this happened, this went wrong. Or we start putting fear into the future of, yeah, but then it might not work out. But when you're in flow, you don't overthink it. You just go. And you let
you
your
know what?
heart
Then you
lead.
trust it too.
Yes.
Now, I only really understand flow now. Pretty much in the past 6 months that it's what I go by. Go with your flow, which is my flow. And it really works. Getting back to the decision, so I basically said, okay, I'll go to Australia. I had to work out all my visas to get a student visa and these different types of things, and then moved here and did my marketing degree at RMIT, which was fantastic.
Which is in Melbourne, for those that aren't familiar with Australia.
Oh, yes. Yeah, Melbourne, Australia. And when I got back to the maths, I was good at accounting. I mean, I had to get extra tutorial work. You could go with the group, and that's what I did through university. Anytime extra help was offered, I took it because I'm better at learning with people, rather than just reading the textbook. So I could go in that engage type learning and take extra tutorials, and it was amazing. And I enjoyed accounting. It was so much more relevant when it wasn't X equals Y, Z squared, whatever. I'm thinking, what am I going to use this for? Whereas in accounting, I went, this will help me count my money. Then that's a bit more relevant. So, so I did that degree. And then the third year, I'll take you to the little story in between, because the stories will help you sort of see how the journey has unfolded and where my crazy person mentalities come from. So 3 years into the degree, you do a 1-year work stint. They call it work integrated learning. So I went down to Geelong and worked at a Holden dealership because I always liked the idea of cars. They dealt with a lot of sponsorships and things like that. Went down to Geelong and started wakeboarding while I was down there, which was really cool because they had a river there. I was initially going because I wanted to be close to the surf beach.
Yep.
But it turns out that the river was right in the city and you could wakeboard on weekends. And then because I made friends with people that had a boat and were just awesome people to hang out with. And we played the stereo and cruise up and down the river and watch everyone wakeboard, and absolutely loved it during those years. So it was a really, really good time. And after that year, came back to Melbourne, finished my degree, and then it was time to get in the big world and work out what I was going to do. So I looked through Seek and I found a position that was mine.
Yep.
Straight away. I looked at it, that was mine. It was Prestige Automotive Marketing, which obviously I was ready in automotive, and that's what I was looking for. And with my infinity of big, rich, shiny kind of things from the young age, that imagination, it was PA to an international, I suppose he was a billionaire at one time. I'm not sure if he still is, but he was, who I didn't know, it didn't say much else, but I thought, that's me. And I applied for the position, and I went through a recruitment company, and I was 23, a little bit of experience. So I had not this big backing of experience, especially for Prestige. And in Prestige, you really need to know what you're doing. But I that didn't matter. I was the person for the job, and I went for it. And months of interviews, and everyone around me was just getting annoyed because they're going, you're not going to get this position. What are you doing? You're being ridiculous. Go work, go get a job, go do this. And I mean, I was doing bits and pieces at the time. I think I went back to doing some extra work in movies and things like that, which I loved because I like being around that sort of thing. But the pay was very inconsistent, and they pay later. And, it was really just barely getting by. But I was certain I was getting this position. So it got into, I think it was nearly then the 3-month mark, and I didn't have money to pay rent. I was living with a friend. It was actually stretching our friendship. Not that I was paying the rent, but she knew it was running thin. And in her vision, she was probably going, yeah, I don't know what's happening here. So I had the wakeboard that I was wakeboarding in. And the man that owned the boat, who's such a lovely man, I called him and I said, Greg, there's this job and I'm going to get it. And he just believed in me somehow. He was like, oh, no, can you buy the wakeboard so I can have money for rent? He goes, no problem. How much do you want for it? I think it was whatever. I think I asked $600 or $700 because I needed enough for rent and just things or bills or whatnot. Straight away, transferred to my account, done. Which, I mean, I live life quite scarily. I don't know what the word is on some people's part, but it's so trusting and knowing in my own self that it's not as scary for me as it is for the other people watching it, if that makes sense at all.
And what I love about you is that you don't take on other people's fear.
Well, that's really challenging not to, though. But you can't, because if you do, I have this lighthouse theory of being a lighthouse, and when you're lit up, that's your best self. Yeah. There's other things there's other ways of explaining it. But when darkness or people's fears come into you and you take them on, that brings darkness to your lighthouse.
Yes.
And you need your full light to light up. So now that's my way of articulating it. But that's pretty much what I did. I knew I had to be that light without even realizing it. Just couldn't take on their fears because it wasn't serving me.